You ever get the feeling that something big is falling apart but nobody wants to admit it? That's where the motorcycle world is right now. Behind the glossy brochures and nostalgic branding lies a storm of collapsing sales, factory shutdowns, and disappearing parts. And the brand at the bottom of this list might just shock you. Because it's not just in trouble, it's on the edge of extinction. Let's start with the brand that once was American motorcycling, Harley-Davidson. For decades, this name meant attitude, brotherhood, and the roar of freedom. But in 2025, that roar doesn't shake the streets anymore. It just echoes off empty showrooms. Harley didn't just sell bikes, it sold an identity. And for a while, that identity was untouchable. But now, it's out of reach, literally. Entry-level models that were once designed for working-class riders now push past $17,000 after fees and markups. The top-tier touring bikes? Some cross $40,000. You're not just buying a Harley, you're financing a lifestyle inflation can't justify. And while the price went up, the progress didn't. While brands like Honda and Yamaha embraced modern tech, liquid-cooled engines, digital displays, advanced safety systems, Harley clung to the same old air-cooled platform like it was a sacred relic. The Milwaukee 8 engine still powers much of their lineup, and it hasn't meaningfully evolved in years. It sounds great, sure. But performance-wise, you're paying top dollar for tech that feels a generation behind. Harley's attempt at electric, the Livewire, should have been a revolution. Instead, it was a $30,000 swing and miss that barely sold. They quietly spun it off into its own brand, hoping nobody noticed the flop. And here's the real problem. The people Harley built its empire on? They're aging out. New riders aren't buying into the bandanas and chrome image. They want flexibility, tech, and affordability, none of which Harley is delivering right now. Even when they showed a spark of innovation with the Revolution Max engine in the Pan America and Sportster S, they left those models stranded in a lineup still drenched in nostalgia. Instead of using them to transform the brand, Harley just parked them beside the past. The result? A brand selling rebellion like a costume and charging luxury prices for the illusion. On number 5, we've got a brand that pulled off one of the most impressive comebacks in motorcycle history, and now it's starting to slip. Indian Motorcycles didn't just return from the dead. It came back swinging. Refined cruisers, aggressive street fighters, and a heritage strong enough to rattle Harley's grip on the throne. In 2023, the company quietly retired its iconic multicolor headdress logo, one of the most recognizable emblems in motorcycling. The new version? Monochrome, corporate, and emotionally flat. Indian called it rebranding. Riders called it erasure. And that's where things started to crack. See, in this space, meaning matters. People don't buy bikes like they buy appliances. They buy into identity, legacy, symbolism. And when a brand that's built on nostalgia and storytelling decides to rewrite the script mid-sentence, it sends the wrong message. The backlash was immediate. Forums exploded. Longtime loyalists called it betrayal, and younger riders didn't know what to make of it. Suddenly, a company that once felt fearless started to look, unsure of itself. And here's the bigger issue. Indian still doesn't have the infrastructure to coast on brand power. Its dealer network is limited, its support system is inconsistent, and its parts pipeline is sluggish in too many regions. You can't scale a premium brand if riders don't know where to go when something breaks. Even the bikes are stuck in limbo. The FTR and Scout lines appeal to a younger, sportier audience, but the marketing still leans heavy on old-school Americana. It's trying to be everything and landing nowhere. The danger isn't in the bikes, it's in the silence. Indians losing loyalty, not sale sheets. And if it doesn't find its voice soon, it'll be a brand with no believers left. So, at number 4, we've got KTM, a brand that used to be synonymous with raw aggression, precision engineering, and off-road dominance. For years, KTM was that no-nonsense brand that didn't do comfort, didn't do compromise, it just built bikes that begged to be ridden hard and fast. But in 2025, that firepower is starting to flicker. Here's the reality. KTM pushed too fast. New models, overproduction, risky bets. But when the market slowed and costs surged, KTM didn't just skid, it slammed into a wall. In late 2024, its parent company, Pure Mobility AG, filed for self-administration. That wasn't a pause, it was a corporate mayday. Layoffs hit hard, Development was frozen, and factories were forced to scale back just to stay alive. And it's not just internal. KTM's once loyal dealers are now stuck with floors full of inventory they can't move, while supply chain issues keep basic parts and updates lagging months behind schedule. Even longtime fans are questioning whether the brand can deliver the support that high-performance riders expect. What makes this collapse so brutal is that KTM actually had the hardware. These bikes weren't the problem. It was the reckless push to scale without thinking long-term. They relied heavily on their partnership with Bajaj for production muscle, and once that relationship cooled off in 2021, the cracks started showing fast. KTM gambled on volume, on racing pedigree, on global dominance, and now they're paying for it with slashed budgets, lost trust, and a brand that feels less fierce and more fragile by the day. Now at number 3, we're not just talking about a collapse, we're talking about betrayal. Norton Motorcycles isn't struggling because it failed to modernize or couldn't compete. It's here because it burned everything down from the inside. Once a crown jewel of British engineering, Norton had all the ingredients for a legendary revival: a historic name, passionate riders, and a golden opportunity to rise alongside Triumph and BSA. But then came Stuart Garner, the man who promised a comeback and delivered a disaster. Under his watch, Norton became a mess of false promises, misused pension funds, and bikes that were either delayed, defective, or flat out didn't exist. People placed deposits and got nothing. Employees showed up to locked doors, and the few bikes that did roll out, many couldn't even pass basic inspections. By 2020, the damage was so deep it made headlines. Garner was gone, lawsuits flew, and the brand was left in pieces. Then came TVS Motor Company, a major player from India who swooped in, bought the remains, and promised to clean up the wreckage. To their credit, TVS built new headquarters, invested real money, and unveiled the V4 SV Superbike as a statement piece. But rebuilding trust isn't as simple as showing off carbon fiber, and refunds are still pending. Most riders can't even find a dealer. So if you value stories like this, the kind no one else is telling, take a second, hit subscribe, and stick around. This channel is built for riders who want the full truth, not the brochure version. Norton's biggest problem now isn't engineering, it's memory. People remember the scandal, the deception, and that kind of reputation doesn't get wiped clean with a rebrand or a new model. TVS may have the resources to keep Norton alive. Without big wins, they're just keeping lights on in a showroom no one visits anymore. Coming in at number 2, we've got a name that might catch you off guard: Mitsubishi. Most people know them for cars, maybe air conditioners, but motorcycles? That part of their history has almost vanished. And honestly, that's exactly the problem. Back in the 1950s and 60s, Mitsubishi was in the game. They built scooters and small bikes under the Silver Pigeon name and tried to compete with giants like Honda and Yamaha. And for a while, they held their own. The bikes were practical, reliable, and backed by serious industrial muscle. But as the motorcycle wars heated up in Japan, Mitsubishi didn't fight. They folded. There was no dramatic crash, no public meltdown. They just disappeared. No official exit, no final model rollout, just a slow, quiet fade into irrelevance, while the rest of Japan's motorcycle industry roared ahead. Fast forward to today, and rumors of a comeback still pop up. Patent filings, electric bike sketches, talk of using their car tech to break into the EV market. But none of it has led anywhere. There is no production or any launch plans, just scattered whispers with nothing to show for it. The truth is, Mitsubishi didn't collapse, they ghosted. And now, in 2025, they're stuck in a strange limbo. Their motorcycle legacy is gathering dust, and whatever brand equity they had in this space is long gone. The few people who remember it are collectors or historians, not customers. Their car business is struggling, and the motorcycle side hasn't even tried to come back. And if Mitsubishi doesn't move soon, it'll stay exactly where it is, a forgotten name in an industry that's already moved on. At number 1, this isn't just a struggling brand. It's a legend bleeding out. Moto Guzzi, founded in 1921, once built bikes full of raw character and charm. But today, charm doesn't cut it. Most of their models still run outdated air-cooled engines from the 1970s, with barely any modern features. They tried to break the cycle with the V100 Mandello, but one delayed, overpriced bike can't save the entire brand. Production is low, parts are hard to find, and dealers are rare. Piaggio, the parent company, is too busy pushing Vespa and Aprilia to care. What's left is a fading brand with a loyal but shrinking fan base, clinging to the past while the industry moves on. Guzzi didn't crash. It just stopped evolving. Thinking of buying one? You might want to reconsider. Subscribe now to stay ahead of the truth, because in this industry, nostalgia alone won't keep the wheels turning.